The following program you're about to watch is being brought to you today by the Throne Rod Foundation, the Blown Tire Corporation, the Broken Wheel Group, and the following YouTube subscribers. Like you, please subscribe to their YouTube channels if you haven't already, and smash the bell. Thank you for subscribing and supporting Riders for Christ YouTube channel, truly and always.
Today on Riders for Christ, why does the GoPro camera shut off in warm weather and how to fix it? Plus, did we fix the low fuel indicator problem we had before in our last video? Keep watching to find out. Everybody, welcome back to my channel, Riders for Christ. I'm Chris. It's good to be back with you. Haven't done any riding for a while. So, to pick up where I last left off in my last video, but before I get to that, I probably should mention, as you can see already, looking at my other camera angle, I'm wearing the Shade Tree Surgeon t-shirt. So I bought the t-shirt from Shade Tree Surgeon. I heard that within a good 4 hours, 4.5 hours of having these t-shirts up for sale, they were all sold out. So I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So wanted to thank very much give a thanks out to Shade Tree Surgeon. I'll put his channel links and his merch links in my description of my video. So now today, as I left off in my last video, I was on my way on up to Richmond, on my way down I should say, on my way down to Richmond, Kentucky. I wanted to pick up a bottle of my liquid vitamins, and not even a good 14 miles, on the trip odometer, the little indicator came on the speedometer, warning indicator came on to tell me that I was really low on gas. And I thought, well, that's bizarre. Haven't seen anything like that. Haven't seen that before. Wonder what's up with that stuff. But I knew I had plenty of gas. I mean, I had to have a good 3 gallons of gas in the tank still. So I wasn't understanding why that little indicator would come on like it would out of the blue. Unless I thought maybe I was leaking gas someplace, and I was kind of looking around, didn't see or feel any gas leaking. So, you know, first I still wasn't sure what it was, thinking it could still be a bad fuel sensor. There's this Harley being on a fuel injected model. It's got the fuel pump in it. It's got the fuel sensor. And for whatever reason, if a fuel sensor just isn't, reading right, broke, I don't know, any above, it's just going to give off that little warning light. So I called ahead to the dealership last Friday, and the guy I talked to said he thought that the fuel sensor and all the related fuel stuff would be covered under the extended warranty. I thought, okay, well, I want to make sure, because I'm probably not going to have the money to pay for this thing, even just to replace a fuel sensor, or maybe even the whole entire fuel pump's going to run me a good several $100s or better if I was going to go with the Harley Davidson brand. So they told me to bring it in for the next following weekend. So being it's a nice sunny warm day, at least so far it is today. It's supposed to be maybe a 30% chance of rain today. I thought I'd go ahead and do some riding. I want to see if I can get a good 14-15 miles on the trip odometer, and see if the little indicator come back on again. And if it does, for the low gas light indicator, I'll run it on back to the dealership, have them check it out, fix it. So I thought I'd go ahead and make a video today. It might be, one of those last videos I'm going to make for a while. Good. It's always cool riding with other bikers out here if I can find them or catch up with them. It's always neat. So that's the ongoing saga. First, I had a pile of audio issues. I think I got that finally resolved with this giant squid microphone. So now I can be heard better. And the other thing I noticed too, which is also pretty sweet, is finding out that even though the giant squid microphone is mono, it still records in monaural stereo, which is kind of interesting. And what I mean by that is that when I was using the little gaming headset boom microphones, it would record in mono, but it would sound in mono too. It only sounded like the left speaker. And then I have to go through the whole audio software thing to go ahead and get that fixed. So I have to go through my audio software, get that fixed so it's in both channels. And I would sweeten it up by adding in some some equalization to it for the highs, which would help out a lot. Now since I first tested out the giant squid microphone, it seems like or sounds like I may not need to do that. But I'll find out a little later when I get more into editing it for sure. But it seems like to me that's gonna be one less thing I gotta worry about and screw with. So I'm all for that. That'd be one less thing to work with, having to correct, not only having to correct the poor audio issues, but also trying to get it so it's in stereo. Where this giant squid microphone, even though it was designed for mono, is still going to record in sort of true monaural stereo. So it looks like I finally got that sorted out for a change. So I was feeling better about things, went for another ride to get my liquid vitamins out of a truck stop in Richmond, Kentucky, only to find out that, as you saw in my last video, halfway down there, a good 14 miles, the low gas indicator came on. So I'm going to, it happened twice too, as you saw in my last video. It happened on the way down there. And then I filled it up all the way on up full as I could with gas, just to make sure. And like I said, I wasn't still sure what was going on. I was pretty concerned I was going to run out of gas. So I thought, man, I hope I make it. So I did manage to get down there all right. Filled it all the way on up, clear full as I could. The little indicator light went back off. Did some riding on the way back to Lexington, and once again, right at 14 miles, the little low gas indicator light came back on once again and remained on steady all the way to Lexington, where I stopped in at a Walmart to go ahead and fill on up again with gas. But both times it only took maybe 3 or 4 tenths of a gallon. I mean, not even barely half of a gallon, and it was clear full. So there's something going on with the fuel sensor in the tank. So I need to have them check it out, replace the sensor, maybe the whole entire pump. My understanding is that the fuel pump on this Harley is original one from the factory. So in this Harley being a 2011, you can sort of do the math already. You're looking at a 2011, 2020, you're looking at a 9-year-old bike with like a good 11,000 miles on it, 11,000 something. So it's been doing an awful lot of sitting. So with all that sitting, things still go bad, like that fuel regulator, not the fuel regulator, but the voltage regulator and the stator, that went bad. So thankfully that was covered under the warranty. That would have been a good $400 or $500 repair bill. And so now we got to get this fuel sensor figured out. So I pulled in here. As you can see, my other camera quit. So I had the same issue with my other camera. It started happening on my last video, where it seemed like after a while of recording, maybe only just a few minutes, it would just shut itself off or just hang up. And I thought, well, maybe it's just getting hot, even though I didn't understand why, because it's got plenty of voltage to it from the battery pack. So, you know, but I wasn't understanding, because I thought it'd be plenty cool enough. It's getting power from the battery pack, it's not using the battery, so it's keeping reasonably cool and wouldn't have any reason to overheat, but it would just lock up altogether or shut off. So that's what this little other camera is doing as well. So what I did with my other camera is just like I'm doing now. I just took out the battery out. I think that might be what it is. Just the battery gets hot. That feels warm. That's not hot, but it's warm enough. So I think it's just the battery gets hot or too hot for it, even though it's being powered from the battery pack. It's still going to go off. So I'll just take out the battery out, have it powered right off of the battery pack itself. Maybe that will correct the issue of having it lock up and freeze and turn itself off. Even though I have noticed that on much cooler days or cold days, like it's in like maybe in the upper 50s or 60s, even though it's got a battery inside the camera, it will remain powered and keep working. But now you're looking at it's well into the 80s today, and so it's going to be a much warmer day with plus humidity on top of that as well. So let's see. I got this other camera turned back on. You can maybe see very well or not. There's no battery in it. So start recording once again. We'll see how it does. I may have to just try and do it that way if I want to keep on recording at long periods. As long as I got enough voltage in the battery pack, I can keep on recording for a good period of time. And I am looking at maybe getting another different battery pack as well. There's other battery packs out there that provide more power for longer, for maybe just a bit more money. So I might go on ahead and look into doing that as well. So now I've got my other camera recording. It's recording, so now I need to count down once again so I can match up my video. So we're going to be 3, 2, 1, mark. And now we're back on again. So let's continue our ride here as long as we can. I'm at 12 miles now. Alright, so we're back in business at the moment. It's just forever, one thing after the next. There's always something else going on for me. It's either audio problems or bike problems or camera problems, audio battery issues with the camera. But the other thing too, I wonder, after all of this riding here today, I have to see if that little indicator light will come back on or not for the low gas. My chances are, my luck is going to be that it won't. It'll be one of those days where, because I am scaring it, I'm scaring the bike to go to the dealership to have it looked at, it's going to now behave. But we'll see. We're only at 12.5 miles, and before that was on the highway too. It was right at a good 14.5 miles. Anyway, so it is a really nice. It's getting cloudy. It's like a 30% chance of rain. So hoping I can get this light to come back on. I can have proof. Take it on over to the dealership and get it all checked in and recorded before it's going to start to rain. As you can see, going a little different way, taking you right through the middle of downtown Lexington. Haven't recorded this before on my camera, so I've usually just gone around Lexington. I guess to be a little bit boring on all of these videos, so we'll need to start trying to film different things. Let's see, maybe I'll go this way actually. If you'd like me to wear your merch in my videos, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know what your merch link is going to be. And if I can afford it, I'll definitely will buy one. Put it in my videos with your merch links, your channel links, all in the description below my video. Alright, so we're at 14 miles. The little indicator light did not come back on. At least not yet. Little indicator light did not come on yet, but we'll give it a little bit more time. I could do some more riding. I could get on the interstate if I need to. I should point out here, while I can, is that at one point, not too long ago, before the little indicator light came on, I poured in a little amount of upper cylinder lube. There's a really big bottle of it that I bought at the truck stop, and it's designed to help clean all out the fuel system, the fuel injectors. It's supposed to help lubricate the whole top end of the engine, get it all nice and clean, get all the crud cleaned all out from all of that oxygenated or ethanol gas. And so I poured some of that in there, and it was working. But after it did, that's when I noticed a little indicator light came on for the fuel sensor. And even though I did top it off, it still came on again 14 miles later, and I topped it off again, figuring there still should be some left in the tank right about now. But I don't know, maybe there's a chance where that stuff kind of cleaned itself out, and whatever's making the fuel sensor come on falsely, maybe it got taken care of. But we'll see. We'll take it for a little longer just to see if it's going to come on or not. And there's still another nice little test for these cameras to run without the batteries. They're running now strictly all off of the battery pack, both of them. So that might just be the way to do it, because I don't have a whole lot of luck with the internal batteries. Even though they're being powered with the battery packs, they just get hot and then they want to shut off, and then you don't record anything. And with my other camera, I can just barely make out the little red light blinking out of the corner of my glasses. That's how I know I'm still recording. And I can always take a quick peek in the mirror as well. Running the Harley for a little bit. It's been idling for quite a while. I was having issues before my ride trying to get the camera to stay on and keep recording, and it kept on shutting off, so I was held up for a good 16 minutes trying to get my video cameras to keep working. So during that time, the Harley was idling for a good several minutes, so that would have burned off more gas. I'm not sure what would make the fuel sensor go bad temporarily that way, by pouring in a little bit of the upper cylinder lube cleaner stuff, unless that, I don't know, somehow, some way affects the way it works. I mean, that could still be a possibility. I do know that little fuel sensor, it travels up and down, and it's got some magnetic properties, if I understand that right. So if somewhere that upper cylinder lube I poured in, and it's an oily substance, if it makes the little fuel sensor go down or slide down prematurely, that would give off a false reading, but I still don't see anything just yet. We're almost at 16 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and ride for a good while longer just to see if that, I'm going to give it a good chance to see if that indicator light's going to come on. And if it doesn't, then it's probably just one of those things. But at least I don't have to drop it off at the dealership and have it sitting around for a week waiting for them to fix it and look at it and all that stuff, and they may not be able to find anything wrong with it too. So I don't usually plan on having these long videos. I get told oftentimes that I'm not supposed to record anything past 10 or 12 minutes, and I'm really not supposed to be having anything longer than 16 minutes for sure. But on the other hand, I do see quite a few other motovloggers doing the same thing, and even people that are not motovloggers, they're putting up a good 30-minute, maybe even an hour long videos. And apparently that's fine. You know, apparently that's okay to do. They're not being told that they're not supposed to or they shouldn't. But on the other hand, you know, my thing is too, is you're getting to see all this really nice, cool, awesome scenery that you would normally otherwise see here in Kentucky. And there's plenty of, you know, advertising opportunities with wearing your merch shirt on my videos for a good length of time. But I do try to make it right at 30 minutes if I can. That's about, I figure that's long enough. I try to make it right at 30 minutes, maybe like 30 minutes and change. I try not to make it longer than that unless it's some complicated how-to video or something that is just going to take a long time. And the other option too is I can always make a two-parter or maybe a three-parter video on these longer rides, so that's another option. To have a live stream at some point if I can manage to make things work out that way. That way a video can be, long as I'm going to live stream, and nothing could be said about that. Not sure if you heard that rev bomb very well. Probably should have had my visor up. You could hear it better. And how to prepare for 2028, or the Great Tribulation, which is going to happen between the years of 2025 and 2028. So I'd like to cover those books as well as other videos, and I'm going to put them in a separate category on my channel so they won't be confused with my other motovlog videos, so you can always watch those. So if you don't want to watch the book series, you can always just head on over and watch the other video vlog series if you want. And then you can always head back and watch the other category if you want to. It's just, I'll explain a little bit later in my other videos when I get into that book series. But typically, normally, through the years, of anyone saying that, the world is going to end in like 1988 or 1995 or maybe 2000, or the world's going to end in 2001, well, I would hear those things, but I just never ever felt any kind of confirmation about it deep in my heart. So they just kind of told me from God that that's just not going to happen. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just making up stuff just to make money, scare you into giving them money or whatever the case may be. So I just ignored it. I blew it off, and sure enough, all those years came and went, nothing ever happened. So a couple of years ago, and I'm trying to remember what year it was, 2018 if I remember correctly. Start over again. Let's see, I'm now getting off of the New Circle Road exit. I could loop back around and get back on the interstate. And I still don't see the little low gas indicator light. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ride all the way back down south, back down to the Harley Davidson dealership, because I figure maybe right about now that little indicator light come back on again if I was having an issue. And it appears as though at the moment I don't. It might have just been one of those things. I came up maybe just due to the fact I poured in that little bit of fuel treatment. It shouldn't have had anything to do with anything, but you never know. So back in, I was trying to remember what the year was, either 2018 or maybe the summer of 2019, although that doesn't sound right. It might have been during the summer of 2018, but anyway, 18 or 19 doesn't really matter a whole lot. But anyway, during that time I came across some YouTube videos of people that had near-death experiences, and they went on up to heaven. They faced God himself. They faced Jesus, actually, where Jesus told some of them about what the end times and the Great Tribulation is going to look like. And they remembered it. They remembered all of those things that they saw in those visions. They came back to Earth and they put it on video. Now, if it was just one person, that would be maybe one thing. But there have been a good number of different people that had pretty much the very same exact experience. They would have like a near-death experience or an actual death experience. They go on up into heaven, they face God, where God would show them the end times, would show them the Great Tribulation, and they remember all of those things all in detail. And they would come back, they make a video of it or some kind of recording, and yet the one person didn't know from the other person who made the same thing what happened. They don't know each other. And so when you have a good number of people on different videos pretty much describing the very same kind of event, the very same kind of experiences and things that will take place, some of it in pretty good detail, well, that's kind of where you kind of start to, pay attention. And so I was watching a lot of those kinds of videos from all these different people, pretty much describing and explaining the very same kind of visions that God had shown them. And so I kept that back in my mind. And at the same time watching those videos, Gabriel Ansley came up on my video feed where he talked about the Great Tribulation and also talked about when the Great Tribulation is going to start and when the rapture of God is going to happen. And he explained it all in pretty good detail in his book. He wrote one big book and he wrote two smaller ones. Then he made some videos about it, and even though it's true that we don't know what day or what hour God is going to return, we do know what a year is going to be. So it's perfectly okay and perfectly makes sense to always say we don't know what the hour is, what the day is, or what the month is that God is going to return. And that is all completely true and very, very accurate. And there's no argument about that, but we do know what year is going to be. It's going to happen sometime during the fall season of 2028. So I got several books, and I even got a whole DVD video series all about it that describes it all in really, really good detail. And watching through the 10-part series of the video series from Gabriel Ansley, I felt that confirmation in my heart from God and Jesus that I definitely do need to pay close attention to what Gabriel's saying. Now, you do have your share of false prophets and the make up stuff like I mentioned before, but you do have your other handful of prophets that do in fact tell the truth and they make a very, very good case for what they say that God has told them. So even though you do have your share of false prophets, that doesn't necessarily mean that every single one of them is false either. You're going to have some ones that are going to be good. You're going to have some good prophets that tell you the truth and tell you some very good things that you need to pay attention to and be aware of. And I do believe in my heart that Gabriel is just one of those prophets. So I want to share his book. I want to share his videos on a different category on my channel of Riders for Christ, because I believe that's going to be something people need to be aware of and know about. And if you still don't believe it, or it's just something you don't want to be into, then that's perfectly okay. My whole thing is just to make people be aware of it. Same thing as when Jesus tells us to tell everybody all about what he did on the cross for everybody. That's a command. He wants everyone to go on out, share his message, share his word with everyone. And he only asks us to share his word, his life with everyone. And if they don't believe it, then that's fine. But at least your job is done, where you only have to just share it. And if they don't believe it, they don't have to. But God will deal with them in his own time when that time takes place at their judgment or wherever it might be. So again, with the book series and video series I want to share, if you're not into it and you listen to all of it, watched it all, if you don't believe it, then that's perfectly cool, that's fine. My whole thing is just sharing it. I'm not out there to push or shove or force anything into anyone. You can take it for what it's worth, believe in it, be prepared properly, be prepared correctly, know what's going to happen, and then share it with others. And that's all you got to do. And then they can make up their own mind if they want to believe it or not. And that's what my whole goal of this channel is. It's about just sharing God's word, God's prophets with everyone, not to force it down on anybody. God only asks me to share it with anyone that's willing to listen and believe, and that's all I got to do, and I'll be rewarded for it. If I do not share it, if I do not do anything at all, well, then that's just as bad as, very much as bad as pretty much just not believing it at all, because you'll still get dealt with at your judgment before God. So I'd much rather be right on sharing God's word, sharing God's true prophets with everyone, and be rewarded for it in heaven, rather than not doing anything and suffering the consequences of it that way too. So right now we're right at 31 miles on the trip odometer. The low gas light has not come on still yet. And I'm sure it burned through 3/4 of a gallon of gas by now. So I might head on in here to the dealership and tell them that maybe it's just one of those flukes. Don't need to worry about. Look at all these bikers hanging out. So I'm going to check in here to the shop. I'm going to make sure I got some more gas is at too. I figure right about now with the little light would have came on if there was a problem. So like keep an eye on things, put a little bit more miles on it. I'm sure I used more than half a gallon of gas by now. But it may have just been, I don't know, fixed itself. I don't have to worry about it. Even though it's cloudy, it's a really nice, beautiful, warm, humid day. Perfect day for riding as long as it don't rain. So I hope you'll maybe stay tuned to my book series and video series we want to put together. I'll spend quite a bit of time on it. It's going to be a multi-part video series, and also it's a multi-part video series on the book I'm going to be reading. The books I'm going to be reading, I should say, and DVD videos and other videos I'll be putting on at a different category. Hoping that might maybe attract some people to my channel, maybe get some views, maybe help spread the message of God and Jesus around. And now 35 miles on the odometer. There's still no indicator light for the gas. So it might have, I don't know, keep an eye on it. This may very well have been just the upper cylinder loop stuff I used that may have triggered the fuel sensor to not work properly for a little bit until all of that additive stuff kind of burned away. And I've been recording now for a little more than an hour. So I think I'll head on home actually and have some lunch. Got a lot of video recorded. Probably enough to make, I don't know, 2 or 3 parts. Or at least 2 if I want to make it 2 parts. But I might ride again here sometime a little bit later, just to check things out. Then I'll go ahead and I'll fill it on up with gas, go from there. So that'd be good. I'll have to mess with having the bike in the shop for another week, trying to have them chase down something that may not be showing up or happening for them. I wanted to thank you very much for watching my video. Give it a thumbs up if you like. And of course, I always love subscribers. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would go a long, long way into getting better content for you. Please spread the word as well about my channel. And when you do subscribe, don't forget to subscribe publicly so I can put you on my next video. Meanwhile, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video with other things happening.
Tune in next time to Riders for Christ, where we discover